Good morning, everybody. Minister Rantanen, Commissioner Lahbib, Minister van Weel, ministers, members of the press. You are warmly welcome to this press conference of the Commissioner and Ministers for Preparedness. My name is Mikaela Karlsson, and I will be the moderator of this press conference. First, we'll hear short remarks by Finnish Minister of the Interior, Mari Rantanen, Commissioner for Preparedness, Hadja Lahbib, and Dutch Minister of Justice and Security, David van Weel. Then we'll open the floor for questions for the Commissioner and all the ministers present here. And now I will present the other participants of this press conference. Minister of the Interior, Richard Kozlovskis, Latvia, Minister of the Interior, Vladislav Kondratovic from Lithuania, Minister of the Interior, Igor Taro from Estonia, Minister for Civil Defense, Carlos Carbulin from Sweden, Minister for Home Affairs, Leon Gluden from Luxembourg, Minister for Security and the Interior, Bernard Quentin from Belgium, and Deputy Permanent Secretary Ken Ville Iversen from Denmark, Deputy Director General Christoph Hübner from Germany, and Undersecretary in the Ministry of Internal Affairs and Administration, Wisław Leśniakiewicz from Poland. So let's start. Now I give the floor to the chair of this meeting, Finnish Minister of the Interior, Mari Rantanen. Please, Minister Rantanen.
Thank you, and hello to everybody. Today we have had a meeting with the 11 EU countries' coalition of preparedness and resilience, which are initiative of actually David, my colleague. Today we have had privilege and great honor to have a discussion with President Niinistö and Commissioner Lahbib, and what we are talking about is European critical issues for European security and also the preparedness. Which this coalition vision is that we want to expand, and we have expanded. And today we have new country, Germany, with us. Why we want to keep this coalition, it's because the preparedness and civil security is as important as the military preparedness. We have give a joint statement where we outline that European Union have to take all the lessons to learn from Ukraine, and we have to support Ukraine as long as they need. The second thing is that Russia is existential threat to European security, and it's not only the frontline countries. Third is that defense is crucial, but the preparedness and comprehensive security, we need also civil sector and civil protection. And we need more political discussions in EU level as well. We need to prepare all kind of security threats. Ukraine war is very close to us. And one thing is that preparedness comes with a cost, but the cost of failing to prepare can be far greater. So this is why we need to talk this budgeting in our countries, but also in EU level. European have to be stronger and more prepared, more resilient in many sectors, and there we need this cooperation between the member states. And like President Niinistö said in the morning, the front line is everywhere, and this is quite good underlining what we need to do now. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister Rantanen. Next, I give the floor to the Commissioner for Preparedness and Crisis Management, Hadja Lahbib. Please, Chair.
Thank you. Thank you, Mary. Thank you, David. I call them by their first name because we are among allies, among friends here, and it's good to be here in Finland, a country which has preparedness in its DNA. Allow me maybe to start with an expression I'm sure you've heard, it's familiar. We said fortune favors the bold, but I would say it favors the prepared even more. And that's exactly what the European is doing, preparing. Today, we know that the world is more dangerous, more unpredictable, threats are faster, more complex, and more interconnected. The war in Ukraine and the Middle East show this very clearly. Millions displaced, supply chains disrupted, energy and food security put under pressure. No country can face these challenges alone. So we must prepare together. And we have just seen another concrete milestone of our European solidarity. During the war that occurred in the Middle East, we were transporting thousands of citizens blocked over there in the Middle East, thanks to the European solidarity mechanism. And today, 5,000 Ukrainian patients have now been evacuated to 22 EU countries through our civil protection mechanism, the last one here in Finland. So, I was, during this meeting, very interested to listen to former President Niinistö's assessment of the risk and threats landscape a year and a half after his landmark report. This coalition will help make Europe stronger. It brings countries together to strengthen cooperation and preparedness, and the good news is that it is growing. It represents 11 member states today. It means 40% of Europe's population. This is something. So today I had the honor to represent the European Union, and I express our strong support for this coalition. Your commitment sends a powerful signal. More countries stepping up and strengthening Europe's preparedness. Today we focused on how to turn our preparedness strategy into action by working better together and delivering faster and more effectively to keep our population safe and our society strong. Let me briefly turn to our new European security strategy, which we will adopt this summer. The idea behind this strategy is to have a clear plan in certain words. Our preparedness strategy, adopted 1 year ago, is a key part of this, and we are working on two very important tools. First, we will present a comprehensive risks and threats assessment. For the first time, it will give us a global picture of the risks we face across all sectors: geopolitical, environmental, technological, economic and societal. Think of it as a kind of map showing where we are vulnerable and where we must act. Today, this shared understanding is missing, and we need it fast. The second important tool is EU minimum preparedness requirements, concrete, measurable goals to make sure our societies keep running in a crisis, lights on, hospital open, services running. And we are already moving from strategy to action. Together with our member states, businesses and civil society, we are building preparedness across all sectors. We now have a water resilience strategy. We have stockpiling and medical countermeasures strategy, a new plan for tackling wildfires, and we are building a democracy shield against disinformation, and that is just the beginning. So we all know also that this was the first lessons learned from the Niinistö's reports, that preparedness is about confidence. The confidence that when something goes wrong, we know what to do. And we know we will not face it alone. It's about trust, and we know that trust is the super glue of our society and the super glue of our Preparedness Union Strategy. And that is what we are building today, a union of preparedness that people can trust. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. And now I give the floor to Dutch Minister of Justice and Security, David van Weel. Please, Minister van Weel.
Thank you. And the risk of being the third speaking is that a lot of things have already been said, so I will try to be concise. The war in Ukraine was a wake-up call for Europe. The large-scale invasion led to the realization that we have neglected our defense, and we have taken actions to correct that. All of our countries are increasing defense spending. We are working on a defense industry. We are increasing our defense organizations. We are learning from Ukrainian tactics, and our ministers of defense are firmly in control of this effort. But the war in Ukraine also taught us something else. That war is not only an effect of the military. It is the whole of society that needs to be resilient, that needs to come together in order to provide the security to survive as a nation in wartime. And this is something that we've also neglected in most of our countries in Europe after the end of the Cold War. So we need to find a mechanism to relearn civil preparedness, to relearn our resilience, and do so in a collective manner, because these actions do not stop at borders. That was the origin of the idea of this coalition that we convened for the first time a year ago. Since then we have grown with new nations, Germany now joining today, and this is already our third meeting, and our next one has already been announced, will be in Luxembourg at the end of this year. The idea here is to prepare ourselves against hybrid actions, and let's call them for what they are. Hybrid actions are hostile actions that are meant to disrupt, to install fear, and to influence our populations. This is not something of the future. This is not something that's happening in Ukraine. This is happening here on European soil. It happens in cyberspace. Only this week, Sweden came forward attributing an attack on energy infrastructure to the Russian Federation. It happens in Germany, where we've seen an assassination attempt on the CEO of a defense company. It happens in many countries where we have seen sabotage on real infrastructure. So the time is now. We need to take concrete actions, and that's why, as a coalition, we want to help the Commission and help NATO with concrete proposals to take our resilience and preparedness to the next level, involving the public, but also involving the private sector. This is not something that the government can do alone. We need a whole of society approach. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister van Weel. Now we will open the floor for questions. So please wait for the microphone before you ask your question, and also state your name and the name of your media before asking your question. Over there, first question, please.
Tuomas Savonen, Finnish News Agency. You have talked about the war in Ukraine here, but we have also the war in the Middle East going on at the moment. So what are the most important lessons or teachings for the European Union from the Middle Eastern war when it comes to the preparedness perspective?
The major lessons learned is that preparedness doesn't stop at our border. So our UCPM mechanism can be activated everywhere in the world. And, we have been really, since day one, very committed for protecting, first of all, our citizens and helping them to come back where they were blocked on Asian countries or in the Middle East. That was our first priority. Second, yes, to understand that we need to work on our supply chains. We discovered during in 2022, 24th February, that we were too dependent on Russia's gas energy supply. And then we were threatened by tariffs by the United States, and now by the blockage of the Hormuz Strait. So it shows that, the threats can happen, can be everywhere. It doesn't stop our borders, and we have to have a good understanding and a whole hazards. And that is exactly what our Preparedness Union is about.
Thank you, Commissioner. Does anybody else want to comment?
No, I can only emphasize that part of being prepared and resilient is about being not too dependent on whatever actor. or whatever disturbance of supply chains. So working with the private sector as a government to work on stockpiling, on diversifying your supply chains, on creating in Europe the industries that we lack at the moment, I think is a very important part and task of resilience.
Thank you. Yeah. Over there, please.
Lala Ylitalo, MTV News Finland. A hot topic in Finland, as it has been in quite many of the member states of the coalition, has been drones these past few weeks. Apparently you have discussed the use and counter of drones in this meeting as well, so I would like to hear a bit more about that, and how will the experiences from Ukraine be taken into action here in the EU?
Well, obviously Ukraine is one of the best with drone and countering drones at the moment. So we all understand that, and of course we share that idea that we need to take all the lessons to learn from them. If you look at the situation, this is one of the threats we have, and this is one of the new threats, if you say like that, because as we know, the Ukraine war, Russia attacks have been crucial with the drones, so it's changing the area, and this is what also. We talk that this is concrete for our citizens in many countries, that this war is very close, and it's probably making it more concrete in our countries. But of course, it's obvious that we are learning all the time from each other, but also from Ukraine.
Thank you, Minister Rantanen. Any other comments to this, or any more questions over there?
Yeah, Tuomas Savonen, Finnish News Agency again. About this meeting here, a striking feature with this meeting is that this is basically a meeting of the northern EU states. There's no Mediterranean states in this meeting. So I would like to ask, how do you see the general level of preparedness in the EU? Is it more high in the north compared to the south?
What is clear is that we have different point of view following our geostrategic position, geographic position, and the threats we are prone to face. I mean, like if you go to Greece, to Spain, to Italy, they will talk about Italy earthquake, wildfires, and mainly wildfires in the south of Europe. And here in Nordic countries, it's much more about cyber attack and war. It's normal. It is normal because it is your daily life. It is the reality that you are confronted with. And that is where the EU is an added value. And that is why we are working on a comprehensive understanding of the threats that we will present this summer. And, but my proposal is to forget what are the root causes of a threat, what are the risks we might face, but to concentrate on the consequences. Because no matter if your hospital cannot function anymore because it has been targeted by a drone, or if you are overwhelmed by a pandemic or by a flood or wildfires, the consequence is the same. You will have to be the ability to take care of your patients, of your citizens. And if we concentrate, if you take the picture, only on the consequences, no matter what is the root causes, then we will have the same position, I think. And this is a proposal I made today please stop arguing. Stop, trying to convince the South that war can knock at their door where they don't perceive that, like Finland, where you have the biggest border with Russia. It's normal. So it's useless to try to take it from this point. But by the consequences, I think we can share the same goal to protect our citizens and to keep functioning, to keep running our societies, and especially the critical infrastructures.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any more questions?
Can I add one
sure.
bit to it? Because it's my fault that we're here with only Nordics. So let me explain. I really believe that if you want to get something started, also in an EU framework, it can sometimes be beneficial to have a smaller group of nations that are like-minded on a topic to kickstart the discussion. That is not to say that the others cannot join or are not involved or have a totally different view, but it helps to have a smaller group because you can make bigger steps, and it helps to take countries that are already preoccupied with a theme. So that's where this coalition came from countries that have had resilience higher up in their agendas, as we have done, for example, with organized crime, where you see that most of the coastal states around Europe were the ones taking the initiative for actions that in the end up in broader EU policies. So all of the others will benefit from the work that we do here because it's being transferred into concrete actions and strategies by the Commission. And that makes all the boats rise to the same level in the end.
And if I add a little bit, because this is true, it's anyway, it doesn't matter what kind of crisis you have, it's anyway the normal things. People need water, food, shelter, and the normal life ongoing as much as possible. So this is the case, and if you look the whole Europe, it doesn't matter like needless to say, front line is everywhere. So if something happens here, it will definitely affect to every European country.
And to add, the last Eurobarometer we convey shows that the citizens have different perception of the threats. But one thing that they are all agree, the majority, is that they want the European Union playing a role by protecting them. This is the good news. And if I may, David, you had an excellent proposition to have a kind of exercise together with the Coalition of the Willing in September or October, and we agreed that we don't want to compete with NATO PACE exercise. Well, we are already doing it together, but we want to concentrate maybe this exercise with a population focus. To be more inclusive, because NATO exercise PACE is mainly with experts, but not. It doesn't change the mindset, and it doesn't include our population. And so why not? But it's just maybe a scoop. We are going to work on this.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any more questions? Okay, thank you. We will end this press conference here. Thank you, Commissioner, Ministers. Thank you, everybody. We still have time for a few one-to-one interviews. Thank you.
Thank you.